Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Dan's Studio, where we bring you the latest news in a short and informative format, and of course in the comfort of a studio. Now, in order to comply with the government's wishes, we here at Dan's Studio have decided to self-isolate and to work from home, which is why, as you can see, we are still recording the episodes in my living room and not in the studio. Damn, my hair's getting progressively longer. I need to go to a hairdresser's, but unfortunately they're not open. Now, many things to talk about on today's episode, but before we dive into the actual content, I would like to quickly touch on the way here in Australia we managed to celebrate Anzac Day over the weekend. Now, for those around the world who don't know what Anzac Day is a national day of remembrance here in Australia and in New Zealand. Now, for those who don't know what Anzac Day is a national day of remembrance here in Australia and New Zealand. It commemorates all Australian and New Zealanders who have served and died in all wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations, and the contributions and sufferings of all those who have served. So it's a pretty important celebration. It's a very important day in Australian and New Zealanders' history as well. Now, normally folks will wake up before the sun rises and go to the Shrine of Remembrance or even to their local shrine and have what we call an Anzac Day service, in which we have a minute of silence and we, give thanks to people who fought for our country, which is actually truly a beautiful thing. When I was younger, I did cadets, which is an army service thing. And every Anzac Day, we had to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and go down to the local shrine and do our parades. And, just give thanks to the people who served and fought bravely for our freedom, for our country. Now, however, this year, because of the pandemic, people weren't actually able to leave their houses in order to attend the service. However, fantastically, people were still able to wake up early enough at their own homes to participate in the service in their own way, which I have to applaud, because I think that's just amazing initiative. Despite what is going on, we're still able to keep going with our day-to-day normal routines, which is great. Celebrate what we need to and enjoy the good things in life.
For the 12,000 men and women, there was something missing today. A march through the city spurred on by a grateful crowd. So one family recreated the procession for a much-loved great-grandfather in the front yard of his Sydney home.
A battle call becomes the house call this World War II veteran needed to hear. On the front porch of the home he built as a young man in Carlingford, Richard Wilson standing to attention as he did all those years ago. The last post for the first time in the front garden, watching on, at a distance, his family, with handmade wreaths, drawings and notes of thanks. They miss him, but wouldn't let him miss this.
Now, on to some other news. Over the weekend, some states and territories here in Australia have, and probably will have, started to ease up their stay-at-home restrictions. As the confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in Australia, it continues to drop. The rate continues to drop. In states such as Queensland and Western Australia, some restrictions will have already been lifted by the time this video comes out. In Queensland, family picnics and weekend drives will be allowed, and residents will be allowed to travel no further than 50 kilometers, as well as, non-essential shopping such as clothes and shoes will be allowed. In Western Australia, picnics, hiking, boating, camping, and group exercise will be permitted again, with couples now allowed to have more people at their weddings. The Western Australia state government also has announced that it's increasing its 2-person limit to a 10-person limit. Well, great.
Western Australians will see even looser restrictions, with the 2-person limit relaxed to allow up to 10 people to gather indoors and outdoors. Picnics, boating, hiking and camping are also back on. Outdoor, personal training and opens as well.
However, here in Victoria, it's a bit different. There's still no news onto when the ban might be lifted. I live in Victoria, so Victoria tends to be the story that affects me the most. There's been no update on when the bans might still be lifted or even easing a bit, but the government, the Victorian state government, did say that they are now planning on issuing 100,000 100,000 more tests to correctly get more data on this information and on this matter. And on May the 11th, we'll then revisit this and discuss whether they can lift the bans.
In news just in, Victoria is beginning the biggest public health testing process in the state's history in its battle to eradicate COVID-19. Live now to Brett McLeod in Melbourne. And Brett, how will it work?
Well, you give you some comparison, Mark. We're looking at 100,000 tests being done. Now, that's a number that have been done in Victoria since this crisis started some months ago. The state government wants to replicate that number over the next 2 weeks. So pretty much anyone who wants to get a test can get one now. The idea is to find out if there are any pockets of the state where there may be outbreaks that simply haven't been discovered yet. And so far, they are planning to have anyone who's got cold-like symptoms at all. It could be a scratchy throat, could be a dry cough, could be the classic loss of smell, which tends to be associated with coronavirus. The idea is to rapidly increase the database on Victorians before going to the next stage. We are in a state of emergency in Victoria up until May 11. On that day, the government has to decide whether to extend it or simply start to relax restrictions. Huge pressure on the state government, with other states starting to reduce restrictions.
So for the time being here in Australia, I'm still stuck to my 2-person limit with me and no one. Just me. Just me. I'm going crazy. I need to see people. No more 2-person limit. I'm going crazy. Ah! Despite all the sarcasm and the jokes I may make and all the anger that I may, infuse because I'm going crazy in self-isolation, it is better to prepare yourself in this situation rather than to lift the bans unprepared and too early, as you never know how quickly the pandemic could start again. You never know when a second wave of infections is gonna start again. People are gonna start catching the disease all over again, and we have to go into another lockdown. So I'd rather, to be honest, to just maintain this lockdown for now, and then when all is good, lift it, and we don't have to go back into a lockdown. Isn't that the better option? Because I'd rather not have a lockdown, get a little bit of freedom, and then go back into a lockdown. So as a constant reminder, I would like to remind everyone that the coronavirus is still a very serious issue. We should be compliant with what the government is telling us, as social distancing is still the best weapon against this virus. We still need to be understanding that the next couple of months are still going to be tough. No matter if your bans are being lifted or if you're getting a little bit more freedom, it's still going to be extremely tough, as life would not go back to normal in a snap of a finger. It's going to take a while. Now, still remember to maintain a crowded area if you can, and always maintain a good level of hygiene. Always remember to wash your hands and to wear face masks if you need to. Please subscribe and punch that like button and share our content, as we know it's a tough time for everyone. It's extremely hard. Most people are with their families, isolating together. I unfortunately am isolating by myself. So it's important to, value the time that you get to spend together. Here at Dance Studio, we still want to create entertaining and lighthearted content in everyone to keep everyone's spirits up, to maintain a good level of morale so everyone can get through these tough times. So be sure to continue to support us. I'm your host, Dan. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.